Okay, old business. Miners Institute, transferred Miners Institute to MIF. Has to decide to be put on the agenda so we could continue to discuss and potentially take action on the miners issue. As you recall, last regular meeting, we sent a letter to the Miners Institute Foundation indicating that we would give it back to them if they would accept it, pursuant to the deed restrictions from when they gave it to us or conveyed it to us a few years ago. I was not at the meeting of the Miners Institute Foundation Board on July 11th, but from newspaper reports and discussions with people who were there, it's clear that they did vote. There was a vote and it passed to accept it back if we were to offer it to them, if we were to follow through. So, any discussion on that?
I would like for us to wait for their comment. We did give it to them until the end of July.
Wait for their written response?
Yeah, but wait, yeah.
Yeah, we asked for a written response. They indicated they would give us a written response. So, something else we talked about is kind of thinking about the next step. David and I have been kicking around, this idea of, well, okay, what would the next step be? And I know I got a call from a reporter, and that was the very question: what's the next step? And, I didn't have a clear answer. But David and I have been talking, and we both agree that, as with any other property that we transfer away from the Park District, we would probably want to get court approval on it. So it's that way it's as clean as possible. And there's some question in the law as to whether or not we would absolutely have to, given that we're giving it to a nonprofit, or given that we're just exercising the deed restriction and giving it back to them. But at the same time, for something as important as this, as high profile as this, I know I would feel more comfortable too if we had a judge sign off on it, an opportunity and a public hearing to have comments. So,
can't we schedule most all this stuff so that we're ready? Because I think it was July 30th is when they had to actually give us the full.
Yeah, 30th.
July, the end of the month.
Yeah, 30th. So we could schedule everything so that we're ready in August to do what we need to do and get this thing moving. There's no reason to fiddle around.
Talking about
July 30th,
the
prepare the
next
paperwork and everything.
No, the next step would be preparing the paperwork to file with the court. You then have to set a hearing date and get it in the newspaper and give at least 10 days notice.
Okay.
So at the time everything is filed, we can pick a date for the hearing and then get that published in the newspaper. So probably 2 or 3 weeks out from the date that you file everything with the court.
So we could have everything ready.
Correct.
You receive that letter and we're ready to go.
Yes. So you could, depending on what the letter says, Andy and I talked about, you could possibly authorizing, I could set the hearing date after your next meeting, but if you authorize me to proceed tonight, then that could be in place. You get the letter in July, you go ahead and vote at the next meeting to continue with the process, then we have the hearing with the court, and then we're ready to sign the deal order.
At the August meeting.
After the
Okay.
by the end of August.
So to get that process going, I suppose what we would probably need is a vote, just to authorize David to go ahead and, we're not voting, we don't take the vote, we don't vote to sign a deed and transfer it until after the judge has approved it, right? Yeah, just as
So
we
we can start that now.
Yeah,
We
we've
can
already
go to
gone,
judge
we've
now.
actually already gone through that process on the Vivian property, like over a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, when it was declared excess property and so we have the ability to sell that at any time, even though we actually haven't formally taken the vote to do so. So what we could do is we could just go ahead and authorize him to take the same steps that we've taken on Vivian, so that once the letter arrives, and assuming it is as reported, which I believe it is, Rick was there, I spoke with Rick earlier, and he reported on what happened. Then we'll be in a position to do something. Because this, like with anything, when we sell or convey away property, it takes time. It takes time.
But we could have the hearing with the court set for the date after the next board meeting. You can approve a resolution and authorizing, recommending to the court that you transfer it back to the foundation pursuant to the deed restriction.
But we can do that. We can actually get you
We
to.
start the ball rolling so that we can do that immediately after the August meeting. And then be ready to make the advance by the end of August.
I get one here, two different things. Maybe I'm not making this.
No, we would just be voting to authorize him to get
go
us,
do it.
to file the paperwork and
To get it.
to get a court date, and then they would publish it in the newspaper, and it would be all teed up.
Okay.
But this would be a vote to actually do it, to actually convey the property, because we're not in a position to do that yet. Once
So we
it's
have
now that
official-
we prove that we need to go through this court process.
I guess the only caveat to that is if we set a date and then something comes up at the next meeting regarding how you want to handle the transfer, if you want to add a restriction to the deed going that way, that if we then change the date, we have to republish it, the new date of the hearing. So it's not a huge deal, but it's probably based on the paper, it's about $50.
No, I think it's a good idea if we would do that tonight.
Authorize David to get it going.
And I would make that motion to do that. I'm super good with the second for it.
Okay, so, I mean, as I understand it, is your motion to authorize the attorney for the Park District to
Petition the court.
petition the court for a notice, a hearing that can be published in the newspaper to get court approval to transfer the property.
Sure.
Okay, that's your motion? Okay, motion made by Dave. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Is there any other discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call. Susan?
Brothers,
Yes?
Tanzius. Burke,
Yes.
Bryant,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So maybe you start. Yeah, it just, I looked at the Park District Law Handbook that we all have. It's, but this is a high profile deal, it's a big deal, we want to get it right the first time. So better to get the judge, when the judge signs it, some people are criticized for not getting orders. Better get one done. Let's see. All right, forensic audit, bid consideration authorization. Following our last meeting, and it was our last meeting 2 weeks ago, and I've been doing it the first week. But I contacted Rick and Susan with just 4 names. I don't think we need to get bids for this, but because it's a professional service, but it's always a good idea to get bids. So I gave them the names of 4 different accounting firms in the area who specialize in municipal matters, one of which was Shuffle, the company that we use for a regular audit. The second one was Herbeck and Breckel, a company I went to for a quote when we were in the budget process. Joe Hughes and Associates in Godfrey, who I know represents, he does accounting work for a number of municipalities, including the village of Godfrey, a number of fire districts. And then the other one was Slosser, is that how you say it? Yeah, Slosser, who is another accounting firm in the Alton area. So, and we've received reports back from, I believe, or bids back from 2. And it was substantially lower than we thought. Let's see here.
Because we have something in the budget for that now.
Yeah, we put like 20, 30 in the budget. The reason I called Herbeck and Breckel was like, I figured let's just call them. I know they're big firms from St. Louis, and they'll give me a high figure. So that's just so we could be covered in the budget, but this is substantially lower. I mean, Hughes was, let's see, gave a range, and he had a lot of conversations with Susan about exactly what the scope of our review would be, because it's tough to.
Because they need to know for sure.
And his was $5,700 to $7,200, something like that. I'm sorry, yes, about $7,200 for the initial year, and then per year of review beyond that. And I think the other.
So is this something that Terry's going to take care of?
Yes.
Or do we need to vote?
No, this is just something, I'm just giving you an update. We just got these within the past 2 days, these 2 bids, and we're waiting on 2 more. So, but this is something he's going to be handling, he and Susan are going to be handling going forward. So I anticipate that by the August meeting, we will be in a position, we'll be looking at 4 bids, and I think we'll be in a position to hire one of these firms and get started.
That's Terry's role.
That'd be terrible.
Okay.
No, definitely. The only reason I'm talking about is because these just got here, but no.
Yeah,
These are among the papers on his desk. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments about this, or are they kind of happy with the way that it's progressing?
I think we need to get on it, get doing it.
Definitely.
Move it on.
Okay, other business, can I entertain a motion to go into closed session? You have to read, whoever's going to make the motion is to read that whole thing.
We already read once, didn't we?
Jeez.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and to discuss the sale of property and real estate.
Motion made by Joe, is there a second?
No, sir.
Seconded by Dave, all those in favor of a closed session. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Same chair, ayes have it. We're in closed session at 8:26.
Everybody?
We need to. So I would make a motion to open, go into open session.
Second by Spike. All those in favor? Back into open session. Is everybody in that wants to come in?
This is not gonna take real long.
No, it's gonna wait so long.
Normally it doesn't.
They don't care if you move it this way.
Okay, well, at the, I asked for an item to be added to the agenda going forward. If you guys think it's a dumb idea, you don't have to do it, but I put 40 good of the district at the bottom of the agenda. But, you know, the fire districts I represent, most of them had something at the bottom of the agenda called for good of the order, just an opportunity for board members to express any viewpoint or issue or whatever that is on their mind that was on the agenda already, so that's what that is.
We can do that up instead of when everybody's gone, if we have something to say, I'm just gonna hear us.
Yeah, no, I'll move it right before closed session from now on.
Yeah.
So that way, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it on there so that not a catch-all.
No, what I wanted to say was, for the good of the district, is my son completed his EVO project at Willoughby, and I wanted to commend Carol for her great assistance working with the 15-year-old. She was awesome, and she was there for he got his information to her, she was rapid in getting information back. She supported him through everything, and he was very adamant, and this was his project, and he will do it, and he will talk, and he will. So it is a trail that he worked on putting on one of the steep hills, he post and a rope.
That was
Yeah,
awesome. I was
yeah.
out there today.
He did that, and he did the majority of that. Of course, he had a little help, but there were probably 3 adults that helped, but he put it in.
He's just 15.
He's 15, yeah.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Because we've had more roads, there were more roads out there, and also it's just,
Yeah.
because it's almost impassable. You know.
Right, just wanted to commend Carol and how well she worked with him. She does a great job. And there's a lot of people projects out at the Willoughby farm specifically. I know there might be some in other parks too.
Yeah, but that's the bulk of it.
But it's great. I mean, anytime the guys need a project, they come down here and Kevin connects them to the needed person and they do a great job supporting them.
I gotta tell you, I went to Willoughby today. It impressed the heck out of me. And I commend Carol does a great job with volunteers. I mean, that place would not look like that without volunteers. That is nice. It's cool.
Oh, yeah. We were out there on the hottest day and there were volunteers feeding the chickens and I think some of the goats got out and they had to go get the goats. Yeah. Pretty good.
Congratulations, that's a big deal, especially for just 15 years old. Is there anything else for the good of the district? Let's talk about next meeting. What do you guys think about taking we'll have our next regular meeting third Tuesday in August as usual, but do we need a committee of the whole in August?
Major thing to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think we're pretty good.
Okay. In that case, we'll post a notice canceling the committee of the whole. Didn't think so. Okay. In that case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Jones, second by Spike. All those in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Aye.